Hello, kids, and welcome to Art with Mr. Mazer. This week we're going to be working on doing a contour line drawing of a leaf and then repeating that shape to create a nice autumn work of art. So, the first thing I want you to do, if you can, head outside and find a couple different leaves to use. Now, I've already chosen a few. I've got some little ones, some big ones. I want you to find ones that have a shape that you find interesting. Now, after you have found your leaf, and I have a bunch here, I think the one that I like the best as far as the shape, I think I really like this big one. So I'm going to clear all these away. So I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use this big one. So I am going to create a contour line drawing of this leaf on a little bitty piece of paper. And I'm going to use a pencil to do that now to start. So when I say I'm doing a contour line drawing, that means I am doing a drawing and I'm focusing on the edge of the object. So I want to be very observant and look at exactly that edge. So I want to make sure I see every little bump and every little change in direction and get that on the paper. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger that's not drawing, and I'm going to trace along the edge with that. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to, with my pencil, follow that shape so I can get a very accurate drawing of this leaf. Now, if you were, say, going to choose a leaf like this, and that's fine, but you are going to need to enlarge it. You want to have a drawing that's pretty big for the purpose that we're going to use. And I would say a good rule of thumb would be you want it to be about the size of your fist. So it should be big enough that it should look about the size of your fist, or a little bit bigger since I know you guys have little fists. So to draw my leaf, I'm going to start here with my pencil. I'm going to try and hold this still. And I am going to draw that outside edge of my leaf. And I don't want you to worry about making it look perfect or making it look right. I want you to focus on creating a realistic drawing that really looks like that leaf. Now, this line that I'm making when I'm drawing my leaf, this is what we would call an organic line, because it is a line that we would find in nature. So it could be like something on a leaf or a flower or a stick, a tree branch. Those are natural organic shapes. And then I can see my stem here is a little bit wider at the top. And then as I move down, it gets a little thinner. And then at the edge there, sticks out again. And I don't need to do this on my little one, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I'm going to draw some of those veins that I see inside. Let me get a little closer so you can see better. So I'm going to do the same thing where I follow that line right down the middle of the leaf. And it's pretty straight, but sometimes it veers off and can be a little bit broken. And I'm going to do this one here. Now, what's really important when you're drawing is you want to take your time and do it slowly, because that will allow you to really see what you're drawing and get all those little bumps and cracks, and it'll make your drawing look a lot more accurate, and therefore it'll look a lot more realistic. Now, there's a lot of lines on this leaf, so I'm not going to do all of them, but I am going to do most of them. And I see this one kind of branches off. Now, I have created a nice contour line drawing of a leaf. Now, after I've finished my drawing, I'm gonna take that and cut it out. And I wanna make sure I cut it very accurately and right on the line. So take your time with this step as well. Now, this is another reason why it's important that when you draw your leaf, that you draw it nice and big. Because if it's too small, maybe like your stem might pop off, but it's just gonna make a more interesting and better work of art if the elements are all bigger. So, created my contour line drawing of a leaf, and now I am cutting it out. Now, once I have that step done, which I'm wrapping up here, as soon as I finish this little stem, now I'm gonna find a regular size sheet of paper. Now, if you have a bigger paper, maybe one that's like twice as big, you could use that. But I am going to take my leaf shape and I am going to trace it on my paper here. So just like this, I'm gonna take my pencil and with my hand that's not drawing, I'm gonna hold that leaf still so it doesn't slide and doesn't move. And I'm gonna go all the way around. Now, later, I'm gonna worry about redrawing those veins and things, but right now I'm just gonna focus on the shape. Now, I'm gonna find another spot on my page to do it. Maybe I do the reverse. I could do it so it overlaps and goes on underneath or over top of that other leaf, or it could even go off the edge of the page, which I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna have it pointing maybe like this, and I'm just gonna do a little bit of my leaf down here. And then I'm gonna flip it, and I think I'm gonna do one that's up here that's mostly on top of the paper, but a little bit off. Now, after I've finished drawing my leaves, and I could leave it like that, I think I want to do another little tip hanging off maybe up here, because I have a little bit of negative space up there and I don't want to have a whole lot of emptiness in my picture. I want to make sure I use all the space that I have effectively. So I'm going to do that. Now my next step, I'm going to redraw those veins just as I did before. Now, I'm going to do this pretty quick, but I'd still want you to go by the directions I gave earlier, where you're going to take your time and do it very accurately. So I'm only going to do one leaf, but for you, I would like you to do this for all of your leaves. So I want you to redraw all the leaves and all the veins on every single one. Now, after that's finished, I'm going to take a black crayon and I am going to outline all of my leaves with that black crayon. So I want to make sure I take my time on this step too, because what is really important when we're doing outlines is that we go right on top of those pencil lines. We don't want to see them anymore, because what we're going to end up doing later with this, if you're in school, we're going to be painting these. And if you're not in school, if you have paint at home, you can paint it. Or if you don't, we can find something else to use. I'm going to give you some options next week on how to fill in the color on these leaves. But right now, we're just focused on getting a good drawing and a good outline. But we do want to make sure these are nice and dark, because if we are going to paint this, then next time, if they're nice and dark, then we'll still be able to see all the paint. But if it's not, that paint might cover the lines. So we want to make sure they're real dark. So once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and trace over all your leaves and make sure every single one also has veins drawn inside it as well. So do not worry about coloring them in this week. We are just focused on the drawing and the contour and the outside lines. And then next week, I'll show you some cool ways to blend colors and create those nice, beautiful, colorful, vibrant autumn leaves. So, for this week, your job is to find a leaf, create a contour line drawing of that leaf, including the veins, and then retrace that leaf several times onto a paper, and then outline it with a black crayon. That's it for this week, boys and girls. We'll see you next week, where we'll begin to add color to these beautiful leaf drawings.